The decision to invade Ukraine is President Putin's war of choice. His analysis of Russian-Ukraine relations, published in July of last year, is in effect his war manifesto. In that document, he rejects the concept of Ukrainian independence and Ukrainian sovereignty. In that paper, he asserts his belief that the people of Russia and Belarus and Ukraine are one people and should share one geographical and one political space. He talks about Ukrainians and Russians and Belarusians as being one family. Yet now we see that he has turned his guns on his Ukrainian brothers and sisters. 2 weeks ago, the Russian ambassador, Mr. Yuri Filatov, speaking before the Foreign Affairs and Defence Committee here in the House, which I chair, he said, and I quote, "The invasion of Ukraine, any invasion of Ukraine would be insane." He repeated the same statement on national television. Last week, his president, Mr. Putin, gave the order to invade Ukraine. Does the ambassador in Dublin now believe that President Putin is in fact insane? The invasion of Ukraine is the latest in a very, very long line of Russian and Putin aggression. We look at Chechnya, Georgia, Moldova, Crimea, Syria, Kazakhstan, Belarus. Under his leadership, assassinations and poisonings and repression of dissent also became his modus operandi. Cyber attacks originating in Russia and interference in elections and the internal politics of many countries have also been another common feature of Russian aggression. The failure of the Russian political and military elites to restrain him, and the failure of the international community to realise the danger he posed, only further emboldened him. Indeed, President Putin perceived the West as weak and decadent. In Ukraine, however, President Putin has miscalculated. He's overreached. The international response has been impressive on many fronts and is becoming more effective day by day. Ukrainian resistance is stronger than President Putin had anticipated. Opposition to the war is growing within Russia, will grow even further in the days and weeks ahead. There is now a clear choice facing Russian military, political and business and diplomatic establishment. Stay with him or remove him from office. If they stay with him, some, like President Putin, will find themselves, as Deputy Howland has quite rightly said, before the International Criminal Court, answering for war crimes in Ukraine. I support the gathering of evidence now towards a case against Mr. Putin and his henchmen in the International Criminal Court. The invasion of Ukraine has also been a rude wake-up for many countries in Europe, none more so than in Germany. Many believed that trade with Russia would change Russian politics. What has happened instead is that much of Europe is dependent on Russian gas and Russian dirty money, which has corrupted business and in some cases politics in some European countries. There's danger that change through trade works both ways. Indeed, there has been suggestions of Russian dirty money in Ireland, which needs to be assessed and analysed by the government, which I support on a daily basis. Ireland's geographical location has protected this country in many ways. It's interesting to compare Ireland's relationship with the UK during 100 years of independence and Russia's relationship with Ukraine's 30 years of independence. We in Ireland have also been sheltered from external threats by the NATO umbrella. To a large extent, we've enjoyed the luxury of being bystanders as regards security and defence. At Cathaoirleach and colleagues, this approach is no longer a credible option. Ireland's well-being and prosperity is dependent upon the European Union and our positive and strong relations with other Western countries, indeed particularly the United States of America. What is worth having is worth defending. As a country, we must now be prepared to shoulder a fair share of the burden of European defence and security. European Union, the United States of America have been strong supporters of us in Ireland. They've been strong supporters of the Irish peace process. The European Union in particular, but also the United States of America, have had our back and continue to do so on the crisis relating to the withdrawal of our nearest neighbour, the United Kingdom, from the European Union. In conclusion, and conscious of time, but we will come back to this, I say that now is the time for us in Ireland to look at where we stand in the issue of European security and defence. We recently, and indeed coincidentally, had the publication of a very wide-ranging and long-awaited report, an independent report on the future of our defence forces. That also presents us with an opportunity to answer many of the serious questions that are now being posed on the streets of Ireland as to where we stand and how stand our defence forces. These are questions that this Dáil must continue to come back to on a regular basis.
Thank you, Deputy.
These are questions that we need to address. In the meantime, I strongly support this motion. Thank you.
Deputy Lard.